on behalf of the Indian Society of Structural Engineers, Navi Mumbai Local Center, I welcome all for this webinar on the subject eco-friendly constructions. On this occasion, I welcome all dignitaries, managing committee members of ISSA, and all the members, technical experts present for this meeting. I especially welcome the President of ISSC, Sri Shantilal Jain sir, and also I welcome the eminent speaker of today's function, Dr. Mohan Balwan Dagavkar sir. To disseminate the technical knowledge on the latest technology and current issues, the ISSC arranges many technical lectures, and this is one of the lecture being organized by Navi Mumbai chapter of this ISSC. These technical lectures definitely benefits the professionals, especially the young engineers and students also. Today, the subject is eco-friendly construction. So before the lecture, I invite a person who is a renowned structural consultant who has designed many multi-story building, high-rise buildings in Mumbai. He is a famous in Mumbai, not in Mumbai only, but all over the Maharashtra and India also. He was past chairman of this Institution of Engineers India, Maharashtra State Center, and presently he is heading this ISSC. He is a president and my friend Shantilalji Jain sir. So I invite Shantilal Jain sir to formally make introduction about today's speaker, sorry, about the today's theme, eco-friendly construction, and also a welcome address. So Shantilal Jain sir, please.
Friends, I welcome all my friends who are present in this webinar. I have seen our senior most person, engineer from Mumbai, Dupele Sahib is also present. Thank you, Dupele Sahib, for joining us. Dagavkar Sahib is regularly contributing for ISSC and Institution of Engineer for many years, and is going to deliver lecture on this topic of eco-friendly construction. He is an expert in environment matter. We all know. So introduction about him is a different topic. Why need of eco-friendly construction arise? This is all we know. We have many problems because of ecological unbalance, environmental issues, construction material. What we are bringing is normally cement, steel, wood, many things. So we are trying to work out engineers how to save them, how to save mother nature. Today we are trying to use many material which can be recycled, which can be reused. There are few materials which cannot be reused. So in every aspect of construction now we have to give focus so that for future there will be no problem. Today there is a lot of problems all over world. We have seen this monsoon. See the monsoon, the pattern has totally changed all over world, not only India. Keeping this in mind, we civil engineers have responsibility to try to use material which help our environment, which help our not ours, because in environment on ground we have India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, China, but when you go in universe, all are one globally. So we have to think of that. Lot of cyclones are coming, lot of things are happening. Everything is getting unbalanced day by day. Patterns have totally changed. So civil engineers will have a big role in coming years to try to prevent us from these natural problems. And with that, also one thing I want to wish Mr. Dagavkar Sahib, he's Institution of Engineer Council member, and he has done a lot of things for our Maharashtra Center and Belapur Local Center. Upgradement of a local center of Belapur, he has done tremendous work. For Maharashtra also he has done work. And Now he is contesting election for this Maharashtra State, Council of India, and we all should support him to get him into our national team to help civil engineers. Thank you, sir. Kamble, please take over.
कांबळे सर अनम्यूट करा, अनम्यूट. कांबळे सर अनम्यूट करा.
Yes. Sorry.
Ah.
So thank you, Shantilal sir. Now we will move to the main part of this function towards the lecture. But before that, I would like to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Mohan Balwan Dagavkar. He graduated from SG SITS Indore. Further, he did his MTech in the prestigious college that is VJTI, Mumbai. Further, he continued with his education and completed his doctorate PhD from Nagpur University. He also did advanced postgraduate diploma in urban management from Mumbai University. In his credit, right from 82, so currently he is having more than 38 years experience in the field of civil engineering and environmental engineering. For around 36 years, he was associated with the Navi Mumbai city in the various capacities. Initially, he was with CIDCO. He did many projects in CIDCO. Then he joined NMMC, and there he was city engineer of Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation for the record time, that is 17 years. And during his tenure, he developed many prestigious projects. Few of them are Morbe Dam, processing and disposal of facility of solid waste, Thane Belapur road widening, concreting Wonder Park, Jewel of Navi Mumbai, and the main structure is a headquarter building of Navi Mumbai, which is a gold-rated green building and also landmark of the Navi Mumbai city. And this is in addition to a lot of initiatives in planning to improve the city's environment and the beauty. Regarding another professional bodies, he was chairman of Belapur Local Center. Then he became honorary secretary, and he worked with Shantilal Jain sir in Maharashtra State in the capacity of was honorary secretary. Then he became chairman of this Maharashtra State Center. He also gone further and represented in Maharashtra in the Council of the Institution of Engineers. During his tenure, he did lot of work for the institution. For Belapur Local Center, he developed remaining the floors of this Belapur Local Center building. In Maharashtra State Center, in association with Shantilal Jain sir and his other colleagues, he completed the structural repairs costing about 1 crore 20 lakhs worth value. This work he has carried out and strengthened the building. And he did many more help to the institution. So he is the person who speaks less but acts from bottom of his heart. And he devotes everything from what our ex-chairman of Belapur Local Center was telling, we should participate with tan, man and dhan for the institution. Because in Dagavkar's word, any institution is definitely a better than any person. So we should work to develop the institution and to make him survive so that the benefits of that institution will be passed on to the next generation, upcoming engineers like that. So with this small introduction, I now pass on this baton to Dagavkar sir, and I request him to enlighten us with this today's subject, eco-friendly construction. Over to Dagavkar sir.
Thank you, Kamble sir, for very nice introduction. You always speak very nice words for me, and I'm also thankful to Shantilal Jain sir for giving me opportunity to give this lecture to Navi Mumbai chapter of IICC. So I welcome our President Sri Shantilal ji, all the members. Sri Dupelia ji, he is very senior, and I am not that senior, sir. But whatever I have learned in my 36, 38 years of my life in civil engineering and in construction, and whatever I could learn from my studies and observation, and whatever we are learning today, and what we are understanding from the changing scenario, and nowadays global warming has become a very big challenge, and even United Nations have also set up goal that we should not this temperature should be kept, maximum temperature variation should not be more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. And because of all this environmental degradation, knowingly or unknowingly, we are facing a lot of problem in the world, and in particularly in India. If you see that there are in Uttarakhand and Himalaya, glaciers are melting, and this Kedarnath thing happened in 2013, and recently also we have experienced a lot of problem and flooding and loss of human and property in Uttarakhand. So all these things are actually these are related to, and because of this global warming, that is the we have lost balance, eco balance, and we should not forget that this uh, ecology is not meant for only the human being. We are only the part of that, because there are others also. Birds are there, animals are there, uh, and this we are only thinking about human being. But as a human also, we can contribute to balance, eco balance in our day-to-day life also. But because we are all professionals and we are engineers, and particularly we are connected with construction, so we have chosen this eco-friendly construction theme for today's lecture. So I don't have much slides here, because the slides are just for narration, but I will be speaking about my experience in my career, what I could do and what we should do. So they, generally, we can say that there are three phases of eco-friendly construction. That as I said, climate change has been a major concern globally, and efforts are taken by a country across the globe to reduce the carbon footprints. So the real estate sector is also making turnaround to being clean and environment friendly. So one phase is planning, second is construction, and third is life cycle of the structure. Whatever structure we do, they have three phases. So we should act accordingly. So in planning thing, we can select the material to use recycled material from construction and demolition waste, like sand and aggregate. So that way we can save a fresh sand from the rivers and aggregate stone from mountains and hills. So, and then to reuse material in situ. It is like that. If we do any construction of road, so we go for digging and all these things. So we can just not throw that material to dumping ground, that can be recycled in a proper way in situ. So we will save transportation and other environmental degradation, like noise pollution and air pollution. And to use recycled wood for furniture partitions. So I'll give you example of Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation's head office, where we use all for furniture and these partitions and doors from recycled wood, and to use volatile organic compounds free paints. This will improve our um, uh, in-house air quality, and to use double glazed glass for windows. By using this type of glazed windows, we can provide insulator, and we can reduce the temperature difference between outside and inside, which will reduce the load on air conditioning. And to use precast concrete wherever it is possible, like this on the road, when we do construction, this stone slab, etc., drains, so that on road also there will not be much concreting work. Our machines will not be brought on the road, so no air pollution, no noise pollution, and also we will save the traffic congestion also. And in planning, see, I have just given this picture of NMC head office building where we have so much initiative taken. Green building LEED certificate for gold rating, where we have a centralized HVAC system, central STP for recycle water, and the rainwater harvesting, building management system. So these things we incorporated, where we can, in planning of the structure, we can go for first orientation of the building. If we see the sun moving path and wind directions and rain particularly rain pattern, so accordingly we can design our building, we can plan our buildings, so there are a lot of things can be saved, and we can use natural energy and natural sunlight and air circulation. Then we should have rainwater harvesting. All this terrace water which goes on the floor and goes to the drain, that can be collected in a proper way, and it can be stored in underground tanks which can be used for firefighting and other purpose. Then wastewater recycling. In this building, we have wastewater recycling plant where we have used all wastewater recycled for gardening purpose and for flushing. And solid waste recycling, though it is a office building, so not much solid waste is generated, but we have kitchen waste there. We have a big kitchen at the ground floor where we have a small solid waste plant where we just generate gas, and that gas is again used by the kitchen same here. So no solid waste goes to the outside. And solar panels, here we have not used it, but we can use solar panel on the building, on the surfaces, all on parking lot also over the roof. And our area lighting at least can be addressed by having solar panels over there. So by that, if we plan properly, we can save natural the resources, and we can save energy also. So power is very costly nowadays. Now in paper we have come to know that there is a power crisis, or coal has now shortage, and there will be problem of electricity generation. So and that was the planning part. And during construction also, in planning part also, I'll add some more thing. In this building, if we see this building, there is a this upper floor, and below that there is a basement. But here the basement is not excavated. Here what happened? This building is above the road, some 1 meter above the road level. But but we have got such type of plot that it was some 1 meter below the holding pond, and it was some 3-4 meter below the surface. So that was to be filled up by murum and all these things, inflammation, so that we can raise our building above the road. But then during planning, we decided that we will save our reclamation, because it will require all stone and murum and all these things from natural hills and all these things. So that will be environmental degradation in terms of hill erosion, then transportation and all these things by trucks. So we decided that we will go away with the reclamation, and we will have this natural depression as a basement. So we avoided all the filling, and we have planned that lower basement, and we save a lot of money also and environment also by doing this. Then in construction, we can to protect surrounding from dust and noise, we should have proper cover, like in Western countries or in America, we see that they drape all the buildings from outside with green cloth, or they have some different scenes also that, so that it doesn't look that some construction is going on. The same picture is there on the building of the same site. So from outside, if you see, you will see the same building, but this protects dust and noise from the building. So that is very necessary, because these airborne diseases and these mental problems come through this noise and all other problems. and to reuse, recycle excavated material in situ. This can be done particularly in road construction work, where all the generally when we make some road uh, above layers, we excavate that, and again then new layers are put on the road as a base course and as a wearing course. But if we recycle the same grit and all this same aggregate and sand there only, and that can be in situ use, so it will save a lot of our natural material, because that material is good for use. And to use new alternative technology wherever possible, like in coming side I'll show you the micro surfacing I have done at Palm Beach Road, so that I will explain there. And to minimize debris generation and transportation, so by that, if we go for new technology where we don't need to excavate and we don't need to transport debris to the far away places, like in Mumbai, it has to taken away from Mumbai from to 30-35 kilometers away, so that we can minimize this thing. So it will air and traffic and noise and all these things we can uh, minimize or combat, and to avoid traffic congestion. So if we adopt some new technology, and we can decrease some time, so that traffic can be allowed within few hours, so that will save a lot of traffic congestion. And there are technologies, and to avoid heating, burning of material, this thing also we can save by adopting new technologies on the road construction particularly. And that is main in all cities. And then that was during construction, and after the in life cycle of structure also, we can take some of the decisions where we can protect our environment by less solid waste or liquid waste to authorities. If we have, now it has become mandatory in DCR also, and in solid waste management rules also, this 2016, that big societies should have their own solid waste treatment plant, and big societies should have liquid wastewater treatment plant, where we can treat the water, and the treated water can be used for flushing and gardening, floor washing, etc. So that this responsibility will not go to the public authority, wherein huge expenditure we can save, public exchequer we can save. And reuse and recycle, we can reuse and recycle uh, so many things in the construction, and use of treated wastewater. So, and this treated water we can use in our premises for secondary purposes, uh, save drinking water, except, and use of solar panels to save energy, that we can do. It can be used for area lighting, it can be used for water heating. These things we can have in our societies and in our commercial buildings, in hospitals particularly. These things we have done in the Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation. In all our hospitals, we have used the solar panels for water heating, where we need for patients to have hot water for bathing. And eco-friendly paving, as it is shown here, is eco-friendly paving means perforated green pavers. If we use these, then all water will go into the um, soil, and this will increase our water table. So, and it will reduce runoff also. Runoff is a major problem for urban flooding, and that is the major, because we have all tendency, the people, that they concretize everything and put tiles everywhere, particularly that paver blocks in the buildings and surrounding. So this type of, if we use on tracks and in the society or in the garden, so this will help us to reduce runoff. And recycle product from C&D waste. Now, C&D waste has also become mandatory for all the corporations. So, in C&D waste, actually, we can use bricks, we can make blocks, concrete blocks, we can have tiles, so we can use aggregate from C&D waste. So, these type of things are now, it has become mandatory that some 30% can be used, and in non-structural members, we can use all these things. And even for structural also, they have made out compulsory. So, and IS code has also come up for this. So by doing this, we can save a lot of our rivers and our hills and our natural material. And this will be this should be everyone should practice this. And as I was saying you that eco-friendly alternative technologies, like this is the picture from this Palm Beach Road. I think everyone knows Palm Beach Road. Those who have been to Navi Mumbai. Here, actually, the problem was that this road was constructed by Sitco in 2000, year 2000, and it was handed over to us in 2014. So that time in 2007, and that time they have just while handing over, I put some condition that you please give us after treating its wither surface, top surface, then you hand over. So this went 14 crore for this wearing coat and handed over to us. And then in after 2007, in 2017, again this wearing coat has to be done. So if we went for conventional practice, then it would have cost us more than 25 crores that time. And then I just came to know this new technology of micro surfacing. If your base course is good intact, and only the question is on wearing coat, then if you go for this type of technology, micro surfacing, so it requires only 5 thick layer over the existing one, and it is just put up with pressure and like a grout, and then it becomes a thin 5 millimeter layer over the existing surface, and that is so sturdy and durable that they have given us at least 5 years guarantee in the tender. And it requires no traffic diversion, nothing. Only in 2 hours you can just open the traffic over this. So if I would have gone for the traditional conventional system, then I would have to excavate this Palm Beach road for base coat and then for surface coat, and then I will have to block the traffic a particular lane for 8 to 10 days at least for particular treatment. So this thing we avoided, all transportation we avoided, all debris generation we avoided, all air and noise pollution we avoided, and moreover, particularly traffic congestion was not there because after 2 hours we allowed the traffic. And this technology is so good that the cost was just 7 crore of this 9 kilometer road, and traditional cost was 25 to 30 crore. So we saved almost one third amount of the money. And this monsoon, it is 5 years now. 5 years are gone, and the road is still as it is. It is look as new as it was in 2017. So such type of technology, if we try, so it is good for environment also. And these are in the lifetime also. Like this is a Airoli breed at T junction on Thane Belapur road. There I dragged this with the this greenery. I saw it in Singapore. Singapore, everywhere they practice like this. All bridges and these culverts, and they draped it with creepers. I did it, and this has more than 10 years now, and it looks very pleasing. And moreover, these concrete surfaces also, they emanate heat, so that is also saved. So it is also one of the way of restricting the carbon footprint we can minimize, or heating the surface. Likewise, I also practiced at one MBR we constructed on Parsik Hill. There, the surface was 35 meter, 35 meter. So it was a totally concrete surface. So I have made entire garden there, and just jogging track, and one this balcony to view the panoramic view of city. So that way also the surfaces are we can cover with the greenery. So these are some small things I did in my tenure, and but more I wanted to do, but I'll be doing whenever I will get the chance. And some recognition I got, like US in the Paryavaran Mitra Puraskar was given to me by late Sri Manohar Parrikar ji, who was our defense minister and Goa. That time he was Goa chief minister. So thank you very much for for your valuable time. Thanks. Here I stop. कांबळे सर.
सर हां थँक्यू सर. सर प्रेझेंटेशन मोड हे करून
हो,
नॉर्मल
करतो.
याच्यामध्ये.
हो हो हो.
So now the beautiful lecture has come to an end. So thank you very much, Dr. Dagaukar sir, for this beautiful lecture, and you nicely explain the necessity of protection of this environment, because you are the person from environment, because you completed your MTech as well as your PhD in environment. So you very much take care of this environment. You said that ecology is not only for the human being, but all the creatures of the nature, all the creatures of the nature also having equal stake on this mother earth. So we should follow the nature's rules and do our development in a sustainable manner, so that development is also continued and the environment is also to be protected, so that next generation will get benefit of this nature. You explain with your case studies of this Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation's headquarters, which right from the planning, construction, and after construction also, you provided the facilities such that the environment protection is definitely maintained, and accordingly you got the gold rated building in IGBC norms. Also, the example you have said that the decision makers and administrators should think, they should aware of the what latest technologies are available in the market, and that should be used in our solution to the various problems, like what you did for this Palm Beach mark. And you explain the importance of 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle. That is the main mantra of this environment to protect this mother earth, so that its benefit can be passed on to the next generation. So thank you very much, sir, for your beautiful lecture. And I say that today's presence is not so appreciable, because the people attended are less. But one thing I can say, that there should not be gardi, but people should be dardi. So whoever present for this lecture are definitely, they are concerned about getting the knowledge and updating their technical knowledge and whatever latest technology going on the field, so that they can be benefited and use in their future career. One thing I want to make one appeal, because the person who is doing something for this fraternity should be recognized, and we should project him for his next endeavors. So I request the members who are present over here to support Dr. Dagaukar sir, and we will send him from our, because he's a pride of our Maharashtra. So we should project him and send him to the council of the Institution of Engineers. Another our member is present here is Mr. Aziz Satardekar. He is contesting and he is trying to do something for the engineering fraternity in the state level. So support him also, and the various members who you feel deserve, they will do something for the fraternity. So we should support and pass on message to the other engineers and tell them to observe their right to give the votes for the betterment of this, something who are doing for the betterment of the engineering fraternity. And now last aspect of this any function is a vote of thanks. So first, my friend and who is a president of this ISSC, Sri Shantila Jain sir. So I sincerely thank to him, because he taken initiative and he have motivated us to arrange this lecture, which is definitely beneficial for these young engineers. So thank you, Shantilal Jain sir. Also, we should not express thanks because Dr. Dagavkar sir, he is a person from us only. He is a chairman of this ISSC Navi Mumbai chapter. So, sir, we will not say thanks, but we definitely appreciate the efforts you are taking. Anytime we tell something, some difficulty, we have to organize any lecture or do something for this engineering fraternity, any institution. So always you are ready and you responded to us. So it is appreciable, sir. Not thank you, but appreciable.
Thank you.
Also, the senior members like Dupela sir, in spite of his age, he is quite young than us. So such people are here, and due to their motivation, these programs we are arranging. Mayur, he did right from beginning for preparing this flyer, arranging this meeting, and all other members like Mr. Satam and all who have supported to conduct this lecture in this beautiful manner, and all this audience who are present over here. So thank you all, because without your presence, this program would not have been successful. So thank you all. Thank you, Shanti Bhai. Thank you, Dagavkar sir. Thank you, Dupila sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamlesh sir.